To my channel. My name is Johanna, and for those of you who are new here, welcome, and for those of you who are returning, welcome back. Here on my channel I do planner and planner related videos, DIY tutorials, art and journal videos, and the occasional new release video of items that I've listed to my Etsy shop. And if that is of interest to you, please consider subscribing to my channel, and if you hit that little notification bell, you'll always be notified of when I load a new video. Commenting, liking, and sharing does help my channel grow and would be truly appreciated. Okay, so I wanted to do a quick wrap-up video of Magical Readathon 2020, and this is for the owls. Now, I had done another video on this where I had put this together, and if you are new here, if you haven't seen it, I will link that video below. Bucky, as always, is just sitting with me, but I always like to bring him out when I remember. But what I had done was I had purchased this from Target about a month ago. It was actually, I think, exactly a month ago, because I was ordering some other, well, this is an essential, but I was ordering some essentials, and then I saw this and I'm like, well, yes, I want it. And originally what I had planned to do was cut this apart and then make my own sort of scrapbook, memory keeper, Magical Readathon based journal. And then I saw it, I'm like, you know what, I can just work around this. So Magical Readathon, if you are not familiar, is something that Miss G does from her channel here on YouTube, which is called Book Roast, and I will link that below as well. This is the third year that she's put this together. She has an amazing eye for detail. She has a whole bunch of printables that are available around this theme of magical reading, and basically you are pretending that you are a third-year student at Hogwarts. You're doing your year 3 owls, which is just tests, and then you have all of April to go ahead and complete the owls, to complete your tests. And so what she has made available is this here, which is a letter from Minerva McGonagall, and I had printed this on white, just regular copy paper, and then I just used some regular watercolor to just make it look a little bit old, and then I just glued it in here, and this sticker came with something that I had already. I had put this in, this was already included, I had put this in here, and basically I just took this book and made it into a sort of Hogwarts, Harry Potter, Magical Readathon scrapbook journal, because I'm putting the courses and seminars that she provided, and again, all free, all available, still available. And I printed it out. Now, because I printed it out and sized it small so that it would fit, you can't really read it, but I do have the bigger versions, so I mean that's fine. And then I did a whole bunch of journaling. I like that the artwork is here. I like that it already looks like a scrapbook. And so the magical seminar that I was interested in and was able to finish was the Magical Shop Management, and you had to complete a, the subject matter was something in arithmancy, sorry, I don't know exactly how to say it, but I had to complete that, and I did. And for that specific subject matter, basically you had to pick a genre of book, and hey, maybe I should back up. The Magical Readathon, if you haven't guessed by the title, is just a way to sort of focus your reading for, in this particular case, the month of April, and based on the career or the seminar or the course you want to take, you would have a subject matter that will correspond to a book of your choosing. So for the arithmancy subject matter, that would fulfill this Magical Shop Management course, you had to pick a book in a genre that you did not like. And for me, I picked Emma by Jane Austen. Now, I am not a fan of classical books. I know you're like, what? All classical books make me think of school. I don't know why, but they do. And I already have an inherent bias against that. I hated reading required books in school, even if the book was amazing. I hated it. I hated it going in. I hated it going through. I hated getting out of it. I just hated it. So for me, I could have read something horror or something like that, but I thought, well, classical book is not my genre, and probably never going to pick up another one. And what made it easier is I did it via audiobook on Scribd. And if you have not checked her out, I definitely recommend it. Check out Andy's channel below. She does have a link in her channel because she is a booktube channel where you can get some credits, and she can get some credits for Scribd. And I also do Book of the Month through her referral link as well. Please, please, please check her out. Booktube channels really get a lot of help by people using their referral links because it gets them more books to read, to review, and just put content out on their channel. So definitely check out Andy on her channel. It's a reading thing. And then here I just wrote what I thought about it. Now, I had seen the movie Clueless, and I know guys, and I had seen the movie Emma with Gwyneth Paltrow, and I liked both of them. Listening to this book, however, oh my goodness. So probably the first third of it, I just found Emma annoying. She's like, oh, she literally is really clueless of what's going on. Now, it did help that I had seen the movies. I knew how this was going to progress. So I could see the cluelessness that she was, and maybe that's what made it more annoying for me. And then the middle section kind of leveled out. She kind of, you know, settled down in her matchmaking ways or whatever. And then the last third of the book, Miss Elton, and then Frank Churchill, and then Jane Fairfax, all three of them, oh my goodness, just annoyed me. And the only reason I finished it, seriously, is so that I could do this here. It's the only reason I finished it, or I would have clonked out at probably chapter 2. But I wrote about that, and I'm glad I read it. I'm glad I got through it. I'm never going to read or do an audiobook of a classical again. I cannot see that it's going to go any better. But yeah, that's for this course right here. And this, if you were wondering, this isn't craft paper. This is actually on the tube that you wrap packages that you take to the mail. So it's actually really rough, really thick, and depending on your pen, you may want to be aware that because it is such a rough texture, it might actually mess up your nib. Now, I did all of my writing in my high-tech C pen, and it was fine. I had originally wanted to write in my, what is this thing called? Fountain pen, but I thought it would mess that nib up, and I only have the one nib, so I didn't want to mess it up, so I just used the other pen instead. And then again, if you saw that video, you knew that I added this in because this is what Miss G made available, and then added this sticker. This was already here. I apologize for the noise that's going on. It's the neighbors. And then I added this. I just covered what was up here. The career path that I chose was journalist or writer. Now, this is, in my way of thinking, the same thing, but the extroverted version and the introverted version. And if you know me, you know I definitely would lean more towards the writer. I loved what it said, and I thought the O.W.Ls were doable. So for me to be able to pass this for year 3, I had to finish the history of magic subject matter. I had to finish the Muggle studies subject matter, and I could choose another subject matter of my own discretion. And then later this year, and I'm not really sure when, and I'm not really sure what it's about. I've tried reading up on it, but you know, I'll have to wait till Ms. G puts out something new for this year. The newts for this year, I would have to get an E in History of Magic, an A in Muggle Studies, and then I also would have to do another subject. And so that's again later this year, and I'm definitely looking forward to that. And then here I just wrote down why I chose journalist writer, again leaning more towards the writer aspect, and I just liked what it said. This is really more for the visual for this little scrapbook here, but I do have one that isn't on this kind of paper or isn't printed fully in color like this, where it actually says what it is that it means. And then here it goes into what the different subject matters are and what that means. So for History of Magic, one of the subjects that I needed to take, the book needed to be about wizards or witches. For Muggle studies, the books had to be from a perspective of a Muggle or a contemporary book. The arithmancy was in a genre other than your favorite. And then the other one that I chose, my freebie, my elective, was astronomy. And that basically you had to read a book predominantly at night. And then here is where I actually talk about the 3 different books. So for my astronomy subject, I chose When We Were Vikings, and I don't have that one near me, so I can tell you the author of that. I'll either put it in the description box or I'll put it on the screen. And I read that one before I knew I needed to read it for this. I thought I could double up on books. And I mean, Miss G says this isn't real, so there are no rules, but there definitely are rules. Which I totally get. So I could have just decided, all right, I'm going to read my buddy read with Andy, which we did this month. We Are the Ants at Night, which I did. And I thought I could double up and have it count for both. And then when I actually discovered by watching Miss G's video again, I'm like, well, I had already finished this in the very first week of April, and I only read it at night. And so I talked a little bit about my thoughts on this one. The one for Muggle Studies was a book called We Are the Ants, and I did that as a buddy read with my friend Andy. And if I talk about her a lot when it comes to any of these reading things, it's because she really has, just through her channel and just through her friendship with me, has really encouraged me and made me want to read more. This is our actual 3rd buddy read. We're already looking forward to a buddy read in June, and we're real casual about it because I was worried that I'd have to do lots of notes and write papers and things. But basically, we break up the book in chapters to get through for the week, usually breaking up the book so that it can be done in the month, and then at the end of the week we go ahead and just send the other our thoughts via email. And then we've recently also been including some of our favorite quotes, and it's just a way to discuss the book together. Some of them have been brand new reads for both of us. This one here was a reread for Andy, and it was one of her favorite books, and so I think she really enjoyed reading it again. But it was really fun. It's an amazing book. 5 out of 5, absolutely. So I would definitely recommend it. And again, if you can, go check out her channel for Scribed, because you might be able to read this electronically through there. I had the book, so I'm not 100% sure. And also check out her Book of the Month referral link. We're actually doing, well, no, the book we're doing in June, I had to pick up from Amazon because they didn't have at Book of the Month, but maybe one of our future Book of the Months was our May choice. Yeah, it's yeah. And then the final book that I chose was number 2 of the Harry Potter, which is Chamber of Secrets. And because I knew that I wasn't sure I'd be able to get the actual reading in, I listened to this while I was at work. And Emma, I did the same. I did it on audio, but this one I listened on my laptop because via either the Audible or the Scribed, and I do have both because I actually have realized I do like audiobooks. I didn't know that before this month. I've heard that the Stephen Fry version of the Harry Potter readings is better than the John Dale or Tim Dale or something Dale, who does it for Audible. And so I really, oh my goodness, I really enjoyed hearing this via audio, the Harry Potter Chamber of Secrets. In fact, the last 2 chapters I had to listen to my lunch because I had to stop working so I could just be fully enthralled. It was a great reading. I loved it, and I am going to definitely look forward to reading via audio the other Harry Potter books, and I'll link that in the description box below as well, because it's free, but you do have to listen on it on a computer, I believe. And all of this other stuff was here, and that's why I really enjoy just working out of this. It doesn't matter that it doesn't correspond to what I'm reading. If I need to, I will cover up all of the text, and then I just have the really cute pictures. This is already attached in there. And just to give you an idea of what this book looks like, I'll just do a quick flip through. And again, I love the artwork. I love that it has things that I can leave. I love that it has things that I can cover up. And from what I've read, this is one of quite a few different books that they have released to sort of encapsulate the movies, because this definitely is based on, if you look at the characters that were used in the movie. And I love that there's little tip-ins. I love that there's artwork. And for this Magical Readathon journal, this is year 3. There are 7 books. There's Owls and Newts. So twice a year for the next, what, 5 years? 4 years? Math. I plan on coming in here and just adding to this for the Owls and the Newts. That's the only reason I have this. And actually, I should read through this so that I can include this on the books that I've read for the year. But I absolutely love it. And again, it doesn't matter that I'm not using the corresponding year that I'm in. It's really just about having some of the Harry Potter stuff and then adding my own pieces to it just to make it an actual journal. Because I could actually probably take this apart, make the binding thicker, and then do just lots of places for journaling. But that's really not my intention. My intention was just to put little spots here and there. I love using that paper, and I already had it, and just adding little just memory pieces for me to look at as I go through. And I love flipping through this book just to look at it. And I'm so looking forward to doing more Owls and Newts in here, just because I can add my own little touches to it. If I can find this via Amazon, I will link it in the description box below. It did come with a sheet of stickers, and it does have little things like this, like the proclamation for educational decree. I mean, I think it's a really well put out book, and I had never seen about it. When I was at the Target.com, I had put in Harry Potter, and this came up. I'm like, oh, okay then. So yeah, there's just, it's a really fun book, and I am really going to look forward to playing in it. All right, guys, well, that is just my overview of my Owls for the Magical Readathon 2020. Again, there are going to be Newts later on this year. I don't really understand what that means. I know there's more reading involved, but I don't exactly know what that means. So be on the lookout for that video. I think June, July, August, something like that. And let me know what you think of this flip through. Andy, thank you so much for just encouraging and being a really good reading buddy with me. And from Bucky and I, thank you so much. And as always, aloha.